And joining us on Running Point is the head coach of the Louisville Leopard football team, Troy Davis. Troy, thank you so much for joining us today. And are you still in Daytona?
Yeah, well, I'm in my hotel room, so it's kind of playing here.
Joining us live from Daytona Beach on a little bit of a vacation is the head coach of the Louisville Leopards. Coach, you taking in like a last gasp of life before football hits us?
Yeah, we've been doing this here at Louisville for several years. It's the last week of July. We take a vacation, give our kids a break, let them do their Cedar Point trips or beach trips, and then back to business on August 1st.
So you said that this is a tradition at Louisville. What kind of things do you think this kind of gives you an advantage of, and kind of lets these kids kind of clear their mind? I would assume before the treacherous summer starts on August 2nd.
Right. Yeah. You deal with so much stuff. There's so many things to do in the summer. Our kids have been playing baseball, they're playing basketball, they're doing football. Just give their bodies a chance to rest. We tell them take a week off of lifting, take a week off of football, go out and relax, be a kid for a week, and then come back ready to go. And honestly, I'm on the beach today, and I'm thinking to myself, it's not hard to leave the beach when you know you're going back for football season.
What about you? I mean, I'm sure for you and your family, this is a great time to kind of get together one more time because I'm sure your time demands are very strenuous come football season. So what does this week mean to you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a big family week. We went to SeaWorld yesterday, did the old school vacation there, missed it from the days when it was in Aurora, Ohio. And so we went there. It's just nice to be able to connect with them. And they do share your family with the football team. And they see you spend a lot of time on the phone, a lot of time at the office, a lot of time answering questions. And so you spend a lot of time sharing. And it's nice to be able to kind of dial in and be with them for a week.
All right, when you get back next week and you get ready for this season, what kind of things should fans expect from Louisville? We talked about the strides you made last year and how proud this program is. So coming back on August 2nd, what kind of things do you expect from your squad this year?
Well, we're looking to see the things that, last year coming in and trying to reestablish our system with the kids. The kids have had 3 head coaches in 3 years. And so we thought, going into last year, we tried to implement a lot of things. But, with all the obstacles we were against last year, it was difficult, especially changing the schedule right before the season started. And once we got in, we were looking this year to see, the seeds that we planted in terms of, being able to have the kids experience the same thing again. Where can we grow? And we know our kids a lot more this year. So we're excited about that. We know what they can do on the field. We know what positions we can put them in to be successful. So we're looking to see things grow this year. That's the big thing. We know we've got some good football players. We want to be able to put them in a position to win and excel at what they learned from last year.
And continuity is so important to a program. Yesterday, we talked to 2 coaches that have been with the programs for a long time. You're going into your second year. How exciting is it to go into year 2 and to kind of let these players know this year that like the continuity is there and you're here to stay and you're committed to the program and they don't have to worry about, like you said, before you got in 3 coaches in 3 years?
Well, I had one of my kids, I guess I can best explain that with one of my kids in the season in exit interviews asked me, is our offensive coordinator come back? Is our defense coordinator come back? Are those guys coming back? And I said, we're all coming back next year. And it's the first time for that senior to experience that. So those are huge to kids. You underestimate that continuity, that stability, and what that means in terms of building trust relationships and for them to know what your expectations are and for you to have expectations, their expectations of you and your expectations of them. That continuity just builds those bridges of trust and understanding that you can move forward.
We've been looking at your schedule, and man, is it a gauntlet. I'm sure being an independent football team is a love-hate relationship because you have so many Division I teams on your schedule. It'll definitely prepare you for your Division III playoffs. But at the same time, you got to look at that and say, whoa, what am I getting myself into? What about your schedule excites you, and what kind of challenges do you think are you really excited for the Leopards?
Well, this will be our 4th year playing independent football, and we understand that that's a whole new game, and we're tired of using that as an excuse or a reason for why we can't achieve more. We know that on every turn we have somebody coming at us that's usually bigger than us, and if they're not bigger than us, they've got a great tradition of football. So we're playing good people every week. For us, that allows us to get up for every week. For me, it creates a lot less sleep. But I'm excited. It's like you want to play the best to be the best. And so that's part of it. But the big thing for us is to be able to get through the season healthy. We always have good football players, but we don't have a lot of football players, at a school our size playing in higher level competition with more people. So it's important for us to keep our kids in tip-top shape, keep them healthy, and get them playing as one way. As many kids as we can get in playing one way, because our opponents are all playing their kids one way.
When you have a schedule that is as loaded as yours, is it ever hard to kind of balance the confidence with the, okay, we're really, we're taking our lumps a little bit against like maybe 3 or 4 Division I teams in a row, but we got to stay confident and stay and know that these teams are really preparing us for what we'll see in a Division III playoff?
It's a marathon of the season when you're playing people like we're playing. At the same time, we have to go in with that. We have to go with the expectations of gaining something every week. So, we expect ourselves to win every week, and we expect ourselves to play well, but we expect ourselves mostly to play better than we played the week before. And if we continue to do that, and if we're measuring ourselves against our growth, then we'll be ready for week 11. And that's kind of what we do. We're going to set our competitor as the Louisville Leopards, and we're going to measure ourselves in terms of growth and development, and prepare ourselves to be ready for week 11 playing Division III football opponents. And those are going to be good ones. If we go through a season like this, and thankfully they're taking 16 teams, that helps a team like Louisville playing an independent schedule above their head. That helps us to get it in. I know there's some other people that don't feel that way, but for us, that's an advantage. That we're afforded because our competition is difficult. But getting there, we may end up getting in there at the bottom of that 16 and playing a very good week 1 opponent. But at least it'll be Division III opponent.
I imagine one of the benefits of having the independent schedule is every week you're playing someone new, unfamiliar, and unlike what we talked about before you came on, the knowledge of a conference and the fact that you know each other so well in a conference, you don't have that. You're having to prepare for an unfamiliar team almost every week. And then that prepares you for the playoffs when other teams are 7 weeks of playing very familiar opponents, and all of a sudden they have to do some really deep film dives into teams they've never seen before. I imagine you guys will have been there, done that through 10 weeks of playing an independent schedule.
That is part of like digesting this independent schedule. Over the years, you realize that you are going to, their first time seeing you, your first time seeing them, in some situations, and that is exciting. And that's like playoff football. It does help prepare your staff for game planning a little bit different. When you're in a league, and we've talked a lot in Louisville about joining a league and doing things, we just haven't been able to make the right fit and right connections yet. We're still actively pursuing that, but in a league, if somebody's got an 8th grade track star that might be going to play football because you teach and coach with the guys who coach track. And so that familiarity with your opponent is a huge advantage. But yeah, like you said, when you take it the other way, it could be an advantage to you and that they don't know your people. And so, yeah, that's exciting. It is an exciting schedule. I mean, every coach that I talk to is like, they always talk about how difficult our schedule is. And, we don't necessarily look at it that way. It's 1 week. We got one team that we're preparing for right now, the typical coach thing, but we're looking to beat Barberton. And that's who we're preparing for right now.
Yeah, let's talk about week 1 a little bit, because you're going to be prepping for Barberton for a couple of weeks. You get, the extra time to prepare for them. What is it going to take in that first week? What kind of things does Barberton bring to the table? I know it's a very proud program that is usually very competitive. So talk about that week 1 opponent and what people should expect week 1 in that matchup.
They're athletic, they're fast, they're strong. They play good football teams, and so we're looking to go in and be as crisp as we can. One thing for us is, they are bigger than us, but at the same time, we're going to come in. We're in control of how healthy we're coming in, and that so we'll have all of our people at that point. We'll be able to come in full force, and so coming in there, we want to be crisp. We want to be sound. We want to have great special teams play. And our kids, are excited to be playing their first home game at home. And we have a great place to play. We're hoping that excitement. We're hoping the excitement of actually having fans in the stands this year will be, something, like going, playing away and playing home was almost the same last year. No matter where you were playing, there was nobody there. And you didn't get the kids and the fans there that really make high school football electric.
You made a perfect segue into our next question, because we know exactly how excited the Louisville community gets about their football and how passionate they are about their athletics. Talk about how exciting it is for your team to kind of have a full stadium on Friday nights and to be able to share your journey with the community, and how much that's going to be treasured this year, considering that last year you didn't have it.
Yeah, you look at last year and all that went on, people watched us online and things like that. But when you watch a football game, being there at high school football is so exciting. And so, yeah, we're really pumped about the fact that our student body can be there, our youth kids can be there. They can experience all that. I mean, my first time of getting hooked on the Leopards was when my dad took me to a game in 1981, and we sat in the aisle because the stadium was so packed that I wanted to be a part of that. That's what we want to be able to have a relationship with our fans and our team interacting, to where that could be something that's exciting to push us over the top.
What about your coaching staff? We like to shine a light on coaches' staffs, because I don't feel like they get enough credit. And I know a head coach would be nowhere without a good staff. So talk about the people you have on staff and what they bring to your program.
Yeah, so yeah, you're exactly right about that. It's the staff that does so much work in the background. And my offense coordinator is texting me today. He's like, "I know you're on vacation, but he's at home working." And I kind of feel a little bit guilty about that, but at the same time, I understand. But anyhow, so Coach Ryan Henry is our offense coordinator. He played at McKinley. He actually graduated in '91, the same as me. We found out later that we both played on the same East-West All-Star game together at a Repository East-West game. So he's our offense coordinator. Played at Bowling Green. Does a great job. He knows how to coach quarterbacks and conduct our offense. And then our defense coordinator is Jake Atkins, and he actually played linebacker for me back when Louisville was making its state finals runs and deep into the playoffs. And so he'll be our defense coordinator. He played at Notre Dame College of Ohio. And then after that, we have a lot of Louisville guys. Like you said earlier, Louisville, like a lot of other communities, is rich in tradition. And to be able to pass that tradition on, you want your own guys to coach. They played there. They know what it's like to play there. They know the expectations of the community, and for them to coach each other. So we have several coaches that played throughout the 2010 time frame, and we have a few old school guys that played back in the 90s with me.
Before we let you go, talk about some of the leaders that you're going to lean on this year, and some of the leaders on the field that fans should be looking forward to seeing lead this team.
Yeah, so last year we had a receiver that did real well, Zach Seaman. We're looking for him. He's a competitive kid. We're looking for him to have a strong year this year at receiver. He's gotten some Division II looks. Cam Brazick, offensive defensive lineman, huge dude. We're looking for him to have some impact on games. AJ Lingenhol is our 6'4" tight end. We look to him to do some things, to be able to you can't guard height. You know what I mean?
It's got to be a great thing to have a 6'4" tight end coach.
Yeah, especially coming from my perspective. I'm an offensive line guy. That's what I played offensive line in college and high school, and having a big tight end was always nice. When you were the tackle and you had a big tight end beside you, that made things a lot easier. So yeah, that's nice. And then we have a couple guys trying out for quarterback position. We're returning running back Connor Edelman, 3-year starter. And so we've got some pieces and parts that are going to be exciting to see this year. Biggest thing is our kids are, they have a competitive edge about them. They came up with a theme this year, built different. They want to show that they are built different than the past few years. We feel like at Louisville, we aren't accustomed to being 4-6, 5-5, 6-4. We're accustomed to being 8-2, 9-1, 10-0. And so they're growing up in that community. They want to bring it back. So those are their expectations for this year.
What about this a checklist of goals that like the team is setting for this year and things that they want to accomplish?
Yeah, number one thing is to be better every week and measure ourselves against ourselves. And that's the number one thing. And that's what we keep dialed in as we want to be better every week. We want to be better every practice and build upon things and investing. We talk about that a lot. What are you investing in the team? I know that, Dabo down at Clemson, he does that big thing with coins where, they show their investments every week in terms of the players. Same idea. What are you doing with film? What are you doing in practice? What are you doing in the weight room? What are you doing in the classroom? What are you doing to invest in the win and then get that return? So the more you invest, the more you're going to get a return.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your vacation in Daytona Beach to talk with us. We love hearing from you, and I'm sure we'll hear from you again as the season goes on. Good luck this year, and good luck to the Leopards. And I hope maybe we can talk about a 10-0 season at the end of the year.
Hey, I wouldn't mind doing that at all. I appreciate it. Hey, thank you guys for covering high school sports, too. We appreciate what you do.
You're welcome, Coach. It's a pleasure to cover you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.